Howdy folks. Here is a beautiful location to profile another beautiful eucalypt, which I don't think I've made a video on this one yet. I'm starting to forget which ones I've done and which ones I haven't. I'm just above the Hacking River at South Cronulla, basically. And the trees all through this reserve, even though we've got a modified landscape, you can see we've got plenty of grass. The trees here are remnant and part of the typical vegetation that grows on these sort of, I guess what we'd call coastal headlands, foreshores. And this is a beautiful Bangalay, or what we call Eucalyptus botryoides. I'm not too sure where that word Bangalay comes from, but if anyone knows, you can put it in the comments. There's also been mention of a word Bang Alley, and then that's been corrupted to Bangalay. Not sure what Bang Alley means. This one's got a bit of atypical bark. I might sort of find a better one, but basically you've got coarse fibrous bark at the bottom. What I sort of see more often is sort of tessellated bits like this sort of thing. Yeah, that sort of bark. So these big plates that can come off. And it's another eucalypt that where you go to the terminals, you'll get bare branches. You'll just tend to get bare branches up the top. And that might be a little hard to demonstrate because we've got a real cloudy day. I was here yesterday. I should have done this video yesterday because it was a beautiful, gorgeous sunny day. But basically just up here at the top, you're getting, and I doubt you can even see that, but you're getting bare branches. So fibrous bark, nice coarse fibrous bark on the way up. And then bare branches right up the top. I'll just go check out some ones here on the headlands and find the crucial features that we need. Eucalyptus botryoides, it's a real coastal tree, real strong coastal occurrence. And being on a coastal headland here, that's the Hacking River, close to where it joins the ocean, or what we call Port Hacking. And botryoides, they can get to 20 metres tall or thereabouts, possibly taller. I did see one the other day that was about 25 metres in a sandstone gully. But these guys here, just on this exposed headland, will get to about 10 metres or so. Again, just showing that bark. Yeah, that's more what I associate. Just this, it's really crumbly. Some bits come off easy and some bits are sort of more stuck on. Like that stuff I sort of can't get off, but then you got these more fibrous parts here that come off. Now we'll try and get hold of some foliage and show some features. All right, folks, what a glorious location to study some eucalypts. Another beautiful one. Okay, I've got everything we need. Had to walk around, just had some trouble getting buds, but finally got them. So, botryoides, the leaves are papery thin, or, you know, they're on the thin side. They're very, very thin. So hopefully you've heard me talk about capitulata and ukes like that, which are very thick. These guys are thin, but just a nice papery feel. I'm not saying they're super thin, but there's not a lot of, you can just feel there's not a lot of width there. And with our botryoides, we're sort of dabbling, I think, in our mahogany group, like the resinifera and the robusta, which I haven't done a video on yet either. But what you can see, hopefully, is the leaves are strongly discolorous. And I always think the sunshine helps to demonstrate this better, but the leaves are well and truly discolorous. strongly so, and that's one of the features for botryoides. I'll just get another one here. You can see they're getting pretty wide. 3 centimetres wide is no problem for botryoides. Fold that over and there's a nice discolorous leaf there. So like Eucalyptus resinifera, which I think these leaves sort of resemble a bit, and I know it's got an oblique base, so I did say some eucs can throw it, but you should find this guy doesn't throw it all that consistently. If we have a look at those ones, you can see they're pretty even. So you shouldn't really think it's a stringy bark. And you've got these discolorous leaves here, very obvious. Now the buds are in 7s, and I did finally get hold of them. Just took me a while to find them, but I finally got hold of some here. So let me juggle that as usual and show you that there. Now I will throw in a funny comment about the buds, which some of you might find funny. Some of you might think it's inappropriate, and that's fine. If it's throw it over your shoulder if you don't want it, that's no problem. But a guy once said to me years ago when I was learning this one in a horticultural class, and I'm not saying I'm going to demonstrate this really well, but a guy once said to me, the flower buds remind him of a particular body part on the male human, basically. And I'll let you guys make the connection with that. I thought that was good. I thought that was helpful. I thought it helped me remember a little bit. You might disagree. You might not be able to see that at all. But that's what a bloke told me. And look, whatever helps you remember, But 7 buds for Eucalyptus botryoides. And you can just see how they're produced solitarily in the leaf axil. So compare that to my Eucalyptus fastigator I was waffling on about in the other video. Looks like they're possibly solitary in the leaf axil, or leaf axils I should say, going up and down. They're a nice green colour. Oh, that's got 2 in the axil. So there you go. Doesn't do it frequently though, like fastigator does. But obviously, it's probably got the ability to throw 2 in a leaf axil, but you can see there it's generally 1. A nice long flattened peduncle, that's the common stalk of the flower buds. So it's got a really flattened peduncle, sort of 2-dimensional. It's been flattened like on both sides. But I always find the buds are distinctive. But normally you can tell the tree by its habitat, where it's growing. They do get planted on occasion. I have seen them used on farms in inland New South Wales as windbreaks, but generally they're easy to sort of discern once you remember what it is. Just one feature of the leaves before I go on to the fruit. I just find in some cases, it's not a total concrete thing, but just these little things that help. I just find that the leaves tend to have these brown dead zones on them. And I've got no idea what the dead zones are, but I just find that botryoides throws these dead zones of tissue. I'm not talking about the leaf being eaten, I'm just talking about that brown part there, or these sort of brown parts. And they sort of come in a variety of shapes and sizes, but they tend to throw these sort of brown dead zones. I'll just show you this here. That sort of thing's pretty common on botryoides. Now that looks like it's been made by some sort of leaf miner or something like that, but really what I mean is more that thing there. Just these, what I call these islands, these sort of dead islands on the leaves of sort of, I guess, senescing or senesced leaf tissue. and I've got no idea what causes it, but I just tend to see it. I just tend to see these dead zones, and for me it's an ID feature. It's an ID feature. I just don't see too many other eucalypts commonly throwing what I guess might be leaf miner damage or some sort of host insect that really likes the tree, I guess. I'm always looking for these dead zones, and it seems to do it just so commonly on botryoides. And you know, whatever helps is whatever helps. But I think that's you know, a good reliable feature a lot of the time. These guys are obviously, they've probably been hit by I'd say salt spray on a windy day or salt scorch or something like that. The water here is generally salty, at least brackish. So these guys have been hit by the salt, I'd say. But even though that's got all that edge damage, it's still got that island there, that island of tissue. And look, I just see it all the time, and just something I rely on. Final thing is the fruits, and I did get some, and here they are. And they're sort of a nice barrel shape in botryoides. They've got a nice sort of barrel shape to them. In 7s still, as the buds were. You can see a lot of them have dropped off, and we're just down to 2s and 3s now. But they're just sort of what we call sort of a cup shape or a barrel shape. Some people describe them as barrels. I tend to describe them as a sort of cup, like maybe like a child's cup, like plastic cup, or a maybe some sort of old-fashioned medieval pub cup or something like that. But you can see they're just a sort of no sort of hint of a champagne glass or anything. They're just a sessile sort of you know, cup there, which doesn't really have its own pedicel. It doesn't really have its own stalk. We've got a common peduncle there, but we don't have a sort of stalk on the individual fruit. So they are sort of sessile. Just going right in there to the can't even film where I'm trying to film here. Going right into those, going right into that peduncle without a stalk on it. Just got a few more here. I will say that botryoides is a generous tree with its fruit. It drops a lot. It produces a lot of fruit and drops a lot. So when you get these sort of what we'd call these bushland, parkland trees, there's a lot of fruit on the ground. You can just see hundreds of fruit on the ground. So it's one of those generous eucalypts where you can find these and you can sort of go, what have I got here? They're very different to Robusta, which is a mahogany with discolorous leaves, and they're very different to Resinifera. If you see my Resinifera video, they're very different to that as well. So I reckon that's all you probably need for Eucalyptus botryoides. If you hit any you know, campgrounds in national parks in New South Wales, and those campgrounds are on the beach, those nice campgrounds that are along the beach in New South Wales, a lot of the time the campground is full of botryoides trees. That's a real common theme on a lot of New South Wales beaches where you got a campground. You'll probably be pitching your tent under a botryoides. Yeah, it's really the habitat and the location that gives them away to me. You'll have to look out for other trees here, maybe like Angophora costata, and you might get the odd Eucalyptus piperita. You might get the odd Eucalyptus robusta that you got to look out for too. Sometimes you've got to discern robusta from botryoides, but the fruits and the buds are very different. Robusta will have even bigger leaves, and I must do a video on that one too. But if you're on the coastal foreshores of New South Wales, I forget how far north and south they go, I'm sorry to say. I think botryoides might go into Victoria, but I can't remember. And I forget how far north it goes. But if you're in coastal New South Wales, near the beach, you're probably going to find botryoides pretty quickly. You know, beach car parks and all that sort of thing. It's a really common tree. There's the buds on the tree and the fruits. Oh, this one's just got buds actually. The fruits are probably a bit further back. But look at the bare branching up the top. That's always a giveaway. Just the branching goes to bare. Get these thick ribbons hanging off. And yeah, the upper branch is bare. Just throwing this in now, folks. The distribution from botryoides is up the coast to the Hunter River around Newcastle, and it goes south down the coast and continues into eastern Victoria. So it goes there into about eastern Victoria, and then it looks like further west in Victoria, there's a whole heap of naturalised records further east. So it looks like it might have naturalised in parts of Victoria, but the main accepted natural range is, yeah, from as far as Newcastle, Hunter River, New South Wales coast, going down to the east of Victoria. So that's its range, but very coastal. It hardly gets inland at all most of the time. Maybe to within, 30 k's of the coast, or a lot of the time it's within 10 k's of the coast. Yeah. Alrighty, hopefully enough for you. Hope that's helpful.